Good morning. Good morning. I am proud to be standing in the freest state in the United States, and then in the symbol of freedom right here at the Freedom Tower in Miami. And I think if you look around what Constitution Hall would mean to Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, what the Alamo would mean to Texas, the Freedom Tower means to the state of Florida. It's a symbol of people seeking freedom and people who have fled communist dictatorship to be able to come live a life in freedom. And it puts it in stark relief, I think, because you're talking about 90 miles away, the difference between destitution and tyranny and the difference between freedom, opportunity, and prosperity. And I'd say there's probably no place in our country where that difference is more stark than comparing South Florida to the Cuban dictatorship that so many people fled. And so we're here today to have a great announcement, and I want to just thank President Madeline Cumurieta from Miami-Dade College for being here. I know we have some other dignitaries in the crowd. I know we got some mayors. I know Steve Bobo's here. I think Mayor De La Cruz from Hialeah Gardens, JC from Doral, I think is here. I want to thank you guys for coming. And then we have some great folks up here who are going to say a few things. We have our Lieutenant Governor. We have Marcel Philippe, Silvio Iridado, and I think is Felix Rodriguez here too? I don't think, okay, Felix is here. So we want to thank everybody for doing that. We have, if you look at what's going on right now in the island of Cuba, you've got a lot of people who are standing up and fighting against a brutal dictatorship. This is something that I think many of the people who fled Cuba over the decades probably never envisioned that the tyranny would last this long. And if you think about it, when communism fell in Eastern Europe, when the Soviet Union expired at the beginning of the 1990s, you still had this iron grip on this little island, and they didn't loosen the grip at all, even though the rest of the world had changed and Marxism, Leninism seemingly was on the ash heap of history. And if you look at now what's going on throughout the Western Hemisphere, the dictatorship in Nicaragua and the sham elections that they're doing there, you look at the destruction of Venezuela and other spots throughout the Western Hemisphere, none of that would be happening if not for this communist regime in Havana. This is the original cancer that has metastasized throughout the Western Hemisphere. And so here we are, a whole generation after the defeat of the Soviet Union, after the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe, and you still have Marxism, totalitarianism, with a stranglehold on places in our own Western Hemisphere. We need to do more as a country to stand for people who are standing for freedom. And going back to July, we had opportunities to be able to make an impact. People weren't even asking, really, honestly, very modest requests in terms of what could be done to really make an impact. And to this date, in spite of months and months of people risking their lives, many people have been in prison falsely. Many people are being targeted by the regime in Havana. You've had almost no support whatsoever from the Biden administration. And I think that they're missing a historic opportunity to be able to make common cause with people who just want to be able to live in freedom, want to be able to have a voice in the public affairs of their country, and want to move beyond this communist dictatorship. We should all, as free people in the United States, want to see that happen. We should all want to see the day when we have a free Cuba. So the state of Florida stands with everybody that's taking to the streets, everybody that's protesting, everybody who wants to have a better life, and we will continue to do that. And I only hope that the Biden administration could see fit to provide some support, because so far they've provided none. Today we're here with a great announcement. I am proud to announce that in my upcoming legislative budget recommendations, we will be providing a $25 million investment in the Freedom Tower to preserve this monument for future generations. It's getting close to being 100 years old, and it does need some major repairs and some restoration. These are needed to ensure that it will continue to stand here as a symbol of freedom and opportunity for decades to come. What we will be able to do with this funding is complete structural repairs that are very urgent, conserve and restore historical architecture components, make the building more accessible for people with disabilities, install museum-quality climate control and security systems to safeguard the Cuban American history stored here, and reimagine and redesign the exhibits displaying that history to make it more engaging for all ages. And I think it's very important. This is one example, but there's other examples. On Veterans Day, I made the point of our World War II veterans are passing from the scene. And we have some, God bless them, but most of them have passed. And there really is a danger of just kind of forgetting about the sacrifices they had to make when they had to stand up against tyranny and save the world, and save freedom in this world. And I think the same thing applies here, with the Freedom Tower. You had people flee the communist revolution starting in the late 1950s. Hundreds of thousands of people came right through here, the Freedom Tower in Miami, to be able to have a chance at freedom. And that's something that we need to make sure that we commemorate, and that we make sure we carry on the legacy of everybody who sought a better life here and were able to really build a tremendous community. And I can tell you, I talk to people all over the country. Everyone's talking about Miami right now. I mean, this is really the place to be for so many people, and so we're proud of that, but we need to be good stewards of this history. We need to make sure that people understand what this means, particularly in subsequent generations. I mean, we were just at, recently with, we gave Felix Florida Medal of Freedom, and we were at the brigade, and those folks in the brigade, I mean, are getting up in years, and I really appreciate what they've done to be able to make sure that the community appreciates the sacrifices that were made there. So we think that this is something that is needed now, but we think this is something that we want people looking to this, not just now or tomorrow, but 20 years, 30 years, 50 years down the road, to be able to understand the importance of this Freedom Tower and how huge of an impact this has made to the history of the state of Florida. Because I can tell you, you would not be seeing a lot of what's going on in Miami in terms of the boom. You didn't have so many people that were dedicated to freedom and that really valued it and did not take it for granted. So many people throughout the rest of our country, they just take it for granted because they think this is what they've always known. Nothing can ever change. And I think when people come to South Florida, people are very sensitive about liberty. They're very sensitive about having a free society because they've seen it taken away. And now we're in a situation that if they take it away from us here, we don't have a place that we're able to escape to. So this is really freedom's last stand. So I'm proud to be able to put this in our budget. I think we're going to get strong support from the Florida legislature to be able to do this. And I think it's going to be something that's going to make a difference for generations to come. So thanks for hosting us here. We were here actually. My first full day as governor was here. We did an announcement where we appointed a Cuban American to the Florida Supreme Court, Justice Barbara Lagoa. So that was a neat day, and I'm proud to be back here to be able to have this great announcement. So we're going to hear from a few folks. Jeanette Nunez, our Lieutenant Governor, who many down here know well.
What a pleasure it is to be here with our great governor and so many wonderful elected officials, mayors, commissioners, city commissioners, congressmen. Always a pleasure to be with you here. It truly is an honor to be here at the Freedom Tower, an iconic symbol for those of us that hail from South Florida. It's a beacon of inspiration to so many families that call Florida home. As Governor DeSantis has said many times, the Freedom Tower is the embodiment of the American dream, and and the Cuban American people hold that dream firmly in their fingertips. The beautiful thing about this wonderful piece of history is the dreams. The dreams that were shattered and yet simultaneously commenced all at the same time. On these very floors, the stories that we've heard, they're all the same, yet they're all different. So today we're proud that we've made the announcement of the $25 million investment to restore this beautiful, iconic symbol to its previous glory. And as the governor mentioned, just 90 miles from our shores, people are standing up. They're demanding freedom. They continue to risk their lives each and every day. And for the first time, we've seen the chink in the Cuban communist armor, and that is fear. They're afraid. They're afraid of the Cuban people. They're afraid that the Cuban people will once and for all seize what is rightfully theirs. And today, the rallying cry of Patria Vida is heard through every major city, town, and province. Not just in Cuba, but here in the United States as well, and actually throughout the whole world. And so they're emboldened, and they're indignant, and their demands for freedom after 6 decades of repression and misery can no longer be ignored. And so what you've seen and what you've heard from these people is that they say, si callamos, nos matan. Si hablamos, nos matan. Y por eso hemos decidido de hablar para no morir en silencio. That, my friends, is powerful. That is courage. But quite frankly, that is desperation. And it is unbelievable to me that the Biden administration has sat back and done absolutely nothing to provide these people with the bare minimum, access to the internet, so the rest of the world can see the brutality up close and personal, so they can no longer ignore what the Diaz-Canel regime, the Castro regime has done to its people. America was founded on the values of freedom and democracy. Those values that my parents came to this country for, and so many of you in the audience. Like I said, our stories are very similar, but also very different. And these ideals clearly have meant nothing to the Biden administration. They've sat back and done nothing. But thankfully we have a governor that understands the importance of freedom. Thankfully we have a governor that's willing to demand and cry out and ask them, what are they going to do? But yet, they do nothing because the Biden administration is too fearful of the radical left wing that now controls this party. And so to the Cubans on the island, if you're listening, estamos contigo. We stand with you. We stand with you. The governor stands with you. I stand with you. The free state of Florida stands with you. Que Dios nos bendiga, Patria Vida, abajo comunismo.
And we're proud to be hosted here at Miami-Dade College. So the president of Miami-Dade College, Madeline Umeriega.
Buenos días, Governor, thank you. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor, thank you. This is personal. For me, it's personal. My dad was processed right through here, along with my mom. And so it's about freedom. For us, the Freedom Tower at Miami-Dade College is about preserving our history. That this building never have to close its doors, but it be a place where you can come and learn about the Cuban history. You can come and learn about the exile community and what we've done to not only build Miami-Dade County, but our country, and to preserve freedom. I want to say thank you to our District Board of Trustees here today, Chairman Mike Beleka, Robert Alonso, Dr. Anai Abraham. Your support has always never wavered on the right decision for the college to make. I can't tell you what a champion Marcel is. Just a couple of months ago, we stood with 10,000 strong outside these doors because we said to Cuba and to our brothers and sisters, si Cuba está en la calle, Miami está en la calle. We are fighting for your freedom. This is not just about human rights and dignity. It is beyond that. It is about the calling of freedom and freeing Cuba once and for all, and making sure that we preserve the Freedom Tower to show that history, not for just 100 years, but for the next 100 years, that we never forget the sacrifices made for a free Cuba. I also want to thank Chancellor Hebda from the Department of Education here today joining us, and Congressman Carlos Jimenez. Thank you, and to all the mayors. Miami-Dade stands with our community and stands with the Cuban people. Patria y vida.
Okay, Marcel Philippe, a very, very strong apostle for freedom and great advocate for the Cuban American community.
Thank you. One housekeeping thing first. I'm here wearing two hats. The trustee hat at Miami-Dade College and the Ideas for Cuba Inspire America Foundation hat on Cuba. And on that, I'd like to invite the members of the press that are here to stay with us. Immediately after this, in this room back here, we will have dissidents from the island that are here with us today, like Edie Squeeze, whose son is currently in hiding from the Cuban authorities in Cuba, meet with members of the European Parliament who are here, who have traveled across the Atlantic to be here today to support them, and with all the different heads of the exile organizations who will be meeting here. That will be open to the media, and I welcome you to join us. But I've been asked to speak as a trustee of this institution, and particularly on the importance of Freedom Tower. Now, when the governor's team asked me to join this board, the very first board meeting, I made clear that I had three overriding objectives that I wanted to accomplish. Number one, we were tasked with finding a new president to lead this institution, the largest college in the United States, for perhaps the next generation. And we were thrust with a candidate that wasn't the right candidate for the job. So it got bloody. The mayor knows he was there. He had a front very much sitting where he was right now, while we were bigger. But in the end, how do we report that this board got it right? And now, under the leadership of President Dumariega and Chairman Deleca, this institution is going beyond what anyone ever expected it could be. Democracy's College is on the rise and has a bright future. And thank you, and Michael, for your leadership. Thank you. I made clear, even in the face of some opposition from fellow Republicans, that this institution, Democracy's College, could not continue to have ties with the Communist government of China's finance Confucius Institute. And that too was a bloody fight, even from some Republicans. But today, we're very, very happy to report, Mr. Governor, that this institution, the Chinese Communist government, no longer has a place in this institution. This is Democracy College. The last thing, and the one thing that really, really got me very interested in serving in this position, and it's an unpaid position. Everyone who serves here takes their time. I know Mr. Deleca has a lot of business to attend to, but he comes and he gives his time as chairman, almost another full-time job. And it is that we wanted to save and preserve this tower as Jorge Mascanosa dreamed of it. As he dreamed of it when he purchased it, his hard-earned money, 1997, unfortunately just 6 months before his death. But that task, it's a very difficult task. That is something that this board cannot do alone. It's something that requires the entire community, and it requires the leadership of a governor that's never assuming, never mumbles, just delivers and gets the job done. Thank you so much for that. Now, certainly, we've done a great job here so far. There's so much more to be done to really capture that feeling. So at Inspire America, we launched a television campaign on America TV over the last few weeks to ask Cuban Americans to send us their comments as to what they thought this meant to them, this place meant to them. As you can imagine, there were great comments. After all, this is a place where many of them came to find orientation as to where they get the first job in America. Some came here to just basically get some food or process paperwork. There was a program to relocate all the Cuban exiles throughout the United States so there wouldn't be so many in one city in Miami. That didn't work, obviously. But the best of all the comments was that by an elderly woman from Hialeah. She had come here as a single mother with 2 children. Her husband was not able to come to the United States. And she told me, The Freedom Tower was more than just a place to come and get some food. It was a place where I could find hope. And it was a place where I started my journey as a free person. And that really says it all. That encaptures what this building means to this community. But it goes beyond the Cuban community. See, when this building was first erected, it was the tallest building in this small, quiet town. Today, as we sit here, it is dwarfed by skyscrapers, built in large part by the same community that she once housed, she once helped. And that is also a testament to how far Miami and Florida have come, particularly over those last 60 years. And finally, as a symbol of Miami, it goes beyond that, something that the governor mentioned. See, in those 60 years that we have built up this, one of the most desirable cities in the world, in those same 60 years, the Cuban government, with the Marxist system, has taken what was once the 29th largest economy in the world, despite having only 6 million people, an economy whose per capita income was higher than Spain, Italy, or Portugal. No disrespect to our Spanish colleagues. You've come a long way. And has turned it to a basket case of despair in those same 60 years. So we are a story of freedom, a reminder, a sober reminder, that free men and women can do more and achieve more when they live in freedom. And it's that inspiration that in large part has motivated our brothers and sisters on the island to take that stand in July. And is what motivated the rest of this community to stand outside these doors, the tens of thousands, in July, and support them. That is what this building means. That is what we hope to do here, to tell that story of freedom and to keep it for future generations. And with the help of this governor, we have now done so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcel. Now I'd like to be able to bring up Sylvia Iriando.
Wow, you pronounced it well. Not very often. Governor DeSantis, Lieutenant Governor Janet Nunez, members of Congress, elected officials, distinguished guests, Miami-Dade County College President Pumariega, it is an honor to be here with all of you this morning. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak before you on this very special day for the Cuban people. More than 6 decades ago, this building received and possessed thousands and thousands of Cuban refugee families who came to this great nation of ours, fleeing Cuba's communist regime with broken hearts and shattered dreams in search for freedom. There are so many memories when I come into this building. I get emotional. I close my eyes and I can see my late mother, Sylvia M. Gowdy, working at a desk here to my right, interviewing Cuban refugees for the International Rescue Committee, the first agency that opened its doors in Miami to assist the thousands and thousands of Cuban refugees in need of everything. I look further down that way and I see my cousin, Mary Lillian Council. She also worked for the International Rescue Committee, counseling and hearing the stories, the testimonies of so many families that have been completely broken and have seen all their dreams fall down and broken too. And I see to my left, and I see my sister Eileen walking the corridors, taking Cuban refugees to registration. It's very emotional every time I come to this building. Some things have changed, but the core value of this building is in its history, and history needs to be honored. This Freedom Tower, which became our Ellis Island, is worth preserving. We commend Governor DeSantis for today's actions, geared towards the restoration of this iconic building, which represents a beacon of hope and American generosity and values for so many of us. And precisely because I am standing here in this building, which represents so much for so many, I want to take this opportunity to call your attention to what is happening in Cuba today as we speak, where the Cuban people are taking to the streets to peacefully call for freedom, human rights, and democratic change in Cuba. We know very well and have witnessed many times the criminal nature of the communist dictatorship that rules the island prison with an iron fist. Among those crimes committed by the dictatorship, 3 American citizens and 1 legal U.S. resident were murdered in international airspace on February 24, 1996, under the orders of dictators Fidel and Raúl Castro. As a result of the July 11th peaceful demonstrations in the island, there are more than 570 Cubans who have been arbitrarily incarcerated, beaten, tortured, and even murdered, in addition to the many other political prisoners being held before the July 11th uprising under infrahuman conditions in the regime's jails throughout the island. State security agents, many dressed as civilians, have surrounded activists' homes to impede them from marching for freedom. The regime has called upon its repressive forces to use any and all available means, including brutal and lethal force, to quell the protests. The Assembly of the Cuban Resistance, as well as other Cuban-American patriotic organizations in our community, are working non-stop to monitor the situation in Cuba through an information center located at the Brigade 2506 House on 18th Avenue and Southwest 8th Street in Miami. We ask that you continue to support our people's just and peaceful struggle. We have lost too many opportunities since 1959, starting with the failed Brigade 2506 heroic gest in Cuba when they were abandoned in the beaches of Playa Girón. We believe this is a crucial moment in history, and that our collective efforts to accompany these courageous men and women in the island will definitely make a difference to help bring about a new dawn of freedom for Cuba, as well as peace, stability, and security for our hemisphere. The governor said it well. Cuba is the cancer. The metastasis is in Venezuela, in Nicaragua, in Bolivia, in Colombia, and in our whole hemisphere. And unless we put a stop to it, it jeopardizes our values, it jeopardizes our principles, and it jeopardizes our freedom. So again, we are a single community. We share this community we all love so much. We need to come together. We need to come together, not only for Cuba, but in defending Cuba, we are defending our values as well. I thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to speak to you, and for your invitation, Governor DeSantis, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you so much.
So we're excited. So we're excited about the announcement. Just even coming up here this morning, you kind of wade through the Miami traffic. Obviously, you see a lot of more modern buildings, and you kind of get on that road and you see that Freedom Tower just sitting there. Just makes you feel good. It's kind of like when you be in D.C., it's a swamp, there's all kind of problems, but you see like the Lincoln Memorial or the Washington Monument, it just makes you feel good to be an American. So it makes me feel good when I see the Freedom Tower to be an American, to be a Floridian, and this is going to be something that I think is going to mean an awful lot to a lot of folks here in South Florida, and this needs to continue to be one of the premier symbols for freedom that we have. And yes, as all the speakers said, we have an opportunity as a country to make common cause with people who are fighting for freedom on the island of Cuba. And so far, the response has been pathetic, and really just hoping that this kind of quote goes away. I think that would be a historic opportunity that will have been missed. You know, there's been different flashpoints throughout the last many decades, but I don't know that you've ever seen this much dissatisfaction boiling to the surface, where we really could see a change and see a better future finally after decades of repression. So I know everyone here in South Florida is united. The state of Florida stands behind those folks who want their voice heard, who want freedom, and we do need the Biden administration to step up to the plate and get on the right side here and help those folks who just want to have their voice heard. We'll be watching, and we're going to make sure that we make sure we are speaking with one voice here in the state of Florida. But legislature, I don't know that we have any here because they're up doing a special session, but this is a layup for you guys, so I'm very confident that you'll be able to get this done. Fortunately, we're in very good financial shape in the state of Florida, have really abundant reserves, have managed the state very wisely, and clearly we've had a lot of people want to come here and invest in Florida. So you're seeing that reflected in our budget and our financials. I did the education budget. We did this budget piece today for Freedom Tower. We're going to be rolling out some other portions of the budget, and then we'll probably do the whole budget sometime at the beginning of December. But suffice it to say, we're in a really strong position, and so this is an easy thing to be able to do. And I think, quite frankly, the benefit of putting in $25 billion will get far more benefit in that. And honestly, if it just teaches young people what this means, and they learn about the history and the struggles, and that they're better citizens as a result of it, that will pay for itself 10 times. So thank you all. God bless you, and we will restore the Freedom Tower.